Well, this is wine tasting with Granny session 2. Now, the first session, I have to say, my daughter-in-law cooked me completely hot. Come on, let's do it now. And I barely finished eating, and there I was trying to, on the hoof. Now, I've thought about this, and I thought, well, some people, okay, you know-it-alls, you know how to drink white before red and all the rest of your tasting seriously, but some people don't, so bear with me. Going through the basics of wine tasting and to learn about wine. If you're tasting, let's say, 4 wines, generally speaking, you taste white before red, except if you've got a dessert wine, so you might move that towards the end of your tasting. So white before red, and the drier ones before sweeter ones, and then your red wine. And then if you've got a sweeter dessert wine, you would end with that. And having said that, then when you're tasting wine, the first thing you're going to look at is its colour. And with a white wine, you can tell a lot by looking at the colour. And if this was a sweeter white wine, which it's not, it's a really beautiful Viognier. Now, for those who don't know what Viognier is a grape variety. Viognier is a wonderful grape. It can be blended with others, but it's always a straight Viognier, which this is. It's always a very fragrant grape. The aromas that come from Viognier are lovely. Depending, of course, where it's grown, it will alter in flavour. The soil, inclined to the sun. There's so many different things which factor into making your wine. And a clever wine grower can get a really well-balanced wine. And this I have to say is beautifully made. It's got lots of depth of flavours, and it's a round, well-balanced wine. And actually it is, I think, I'm going to ask my daughter-in-law, can you tell me the strength? It's surprisingly strong for a white wine, I think.
13.5.
Yes, 13.5. But it is you're not aware that it's that strong because it's a well-made wine. And this company, this is one actually bought, give Majestic a plug again, bought as part of a 6 bottles mixed, so you get a reduction, and they change them monthly. And thanks to my younger brother, I had a lovely token to spend, so I treated myself to some decent wine. And this we're tasting today is Marquis de Pennautier Viognier. Now, this particular plot has been in, I'm having to go on memory because I really can't read it, Comte Nicolas de Longueuil. He's owned this plot for years. I mean, it's been in the family generations, and they certainly know how to make good wines. So if this was a sweet white wine, you're swilling it round like that, you could tell it's going to have be sweeter, because when you're doing it like that, you'd find that tears, if it was a sweeter wine, would stick. You'd swill it round like that, and you'd find that actually this is nothing, it drops straight down. But if it was a sweeter one and golden colour, sweeter, you'd find little rivulets would stick to your glass, and so you could tell, that's you're expecting. You hadn't even nosed it yet, but you could tell then, right, that's going to be slightly sweeter because it's clinging to the glass. This is a lovely colour. It's neither pale straw, like a lot of the whites are, really pale or greeny, sappy looking. This is in between a deep gold, but you can see, we need white paper, this paper table napkin, it's Christmassy one side, but we can see white. I hope you can tell from the colour of that. It's pretty colour. It really is. Now, we're going to, already barely swilled it round. There's depth of flavour here. I'm going to ask Jo. She's probably got a better nose than I have for smelling things. Right?
Gosh.
Come on. Can you smell all the different flavours coming? What can you smell? Anything?
I'm rubbish, Granny. You tell me
No,
what I can smell.
Come on. What can you smell? Just think about it. You've got to use your own words. What can you smell coming up at you?
No.
Anything.
Wine.
Well, there you are. Wines is my daughter. True, it is wine. But the thing I'm getting is honeysuckle. There are other flavours. Fruit. It's almost like sort of those really nice. I love apricots, but I like them dried when they're juicy, sort of succulent ones, not those shriveled up ones. The ones that are super, that have been you pay extra for, and they're a delight. I can smell almost that in the bottom here. There are other fruits which I can't get on all, but there's depth of flavour. So now I'm expecting a nice wine. Well, I've had it before, so I know it's a nice wine, cheating a bit, but I just love it. It's just, I know it's going to be good. So now you come to the good bit, the tasting bit. So there's plenty of flavour there. Absolutely spot on. They do make good wine. And you can get Viogniers which will be even more fragrant. Just it is just where it's grown, soil, where the slope of the vineyards are inclined to the sun. There's so many different factors. You can never stop learning about wine. It's a fascinating subject. It's just not how you make wine and tasting it. There's so much that goes into winemaking, pruning, caring for the vines. A good winemaker and a vineyard owner, there's a lot to it. People who really care for the land and look after their winemakers, it makes a difference. And these people enjoy what they're doing, you can tell. And they've made a really good wine to enjoy.
Are we going to give it any stars out of 5, Granny?
Yes, I would give it 4.8.
Oh, that's quite high.
No,
We like this one.
I do. I think it's got...
Sit again.
Yes, this is Marquis de Pennautier, Viognier, and it is
2018.
2018, and I happen to know that Majestic do supply this, but there might be other people who have Marquis de Pennautier wines. They also do a fascinating red Cabard, where I think they finished the 2012 and now in 2017. But I gave to my sister-in-law, I managed to get, I think, a 2012 Chateau Pennautier Cabard. And that comes from the Languedoc, and that was lovely. It was really nice, because I thought before I give it to somebody, I ought to try it. And it was superb. It was a delight. And so I do know they make good wines. And so that's the first one. Well, if we're good tasting, I better move on to another glass. So that's the white. So that's talking about white wine. So you look at the colour, and when we come to red, then you're going to tip it and see if it's got a bluish tinge, because if it's a red wine, like we talked last week, and it's got slightly bluish tinge, it's not that old. If it's more got more bottle age to it, you'll find that you've got a beautiful garnet sort of colour. So you can tell from that. So we've got a treat today. Jo's on a diet, so she's not tasting any, so tough on Jo, but Granny's enjoying it. I've got, not from Majestic, from of all places, Secret Garden. This is a delight. Absolute delight. It is Ventoux. Again, because I haven't got any glasses on at all, I think it's 2018. Yes?
Yeah, 2018.
2018. Vignoble de la Vieille du Rhône. Well, if we zoom in on that map there, we know where the Ventoux is. Right.
Hold on, let's find
You
it.
find
again.
Avignon, it's north of
There.
Avignon, up above
That's where it
to the
is.
right. Yes. So that's where this comes from, and this was supplied by Secret Garden. And Secret Garden, I get all my perennials for them, and you get them at less than half price of some of the plants in Nursery Garden. And I've yet to have a failure for them in way of plants. And during lockdown, they decided, well, bit bit difficult doing plants and things, nurseries closed, we're not getting our supplies like we used to, so they were offering other goods. And when I looked on their site to see if they got a certain perennial, no, but they midweek offer, free delivery midweek, which they're now extending because we're in lockdown again. So I don't know how long they keep the certain wines, but I looked at their range of wines before Christmas and I thought, gosh, that's an interesting, somebody knows their stuff. So Secret Gardener and Company in Yorkshire, so I'm guessing I'd have to look up my old contacts of good wine merchants in Yorkshire, and there are a lot of them hidden in these old towns in Yorkshire. You find all sorts of little small firms, and so they've got some interesting wines and they obviously know their stuff. And I didn't think, considering they had some reduced before Christmas, but considering what wine costs nowadays, you can't get a drinkable wine, whereas before you could spend £4.50 to £5 a bottle, you probably have to pay, in order not to get gut rot, £6 to £7 a bottle, to be fair, unless they've got it reduced. And sometimes the reduced ones are disappointing. They're reducing them for a reason, I reckon, right? But you live and learn. And so they do have an interesting selection, and this was part, I missed out on the ones they had. So when I went on before Christmas, all they got left was a festival box, and this was part of the festival box. Now, I must say, I had some in my lunch, so I've tasted it. I've already tasted it, but we'll now pour some into a glass, right? And it is, there you can tell it's 2018. I really ought to get pure white paper. I don't know if I've got any time. Can you tell the colour? Have we got enough light now, or do we need to? Right. See, it's got a bluish tinge to it. But I opened it in quite a bit before lunch, so it had plenty of time to come to room temperature, slowly without being forced. And I had it near the cooker I was cooking, so it was at a pleasant temperature. But the nose on that, you know it's going to be a nice wine. And it's typical Rhone thing, and actually it's quite light in flavour. A well-made wine. I haven't looked at the strength. What's the alcoholic strength at the back of that?
So let's have a look. It is 14.5.
Well, you wouldn't have guessed it, honestly. It just shows you that's quite going it for a table wine, especially at lunchtime. But you don't notice it because it is a well-made wine. It is beautifully made. And I don't know, sometimes nowadays they're mixing some of their grapes. What do they? Can you see the grapes? Do you need glasses? It's really small print. I probably would need to get glasses because I don't know whether they're going by strict AC rules. Because some of these ones you can only grow certain ones, and you can't grow. Appellation Contrôlée, they control the sort of pruning you can do. The strict Appellation Contrôlée wines, you have to prune your vines a certain way. You can only grow so much per hectare. If you grow above that, and if in a good year you might, because everything's just right, then you can keep the minimum amount that you're allowed for AC. Then the rest has to go to blending to be made into sort of like a Pays d'Oc or just ordinary Rhone. They could do that, but it wouldn't be Ventoux. So okay, so now it's yummy. It's lovely. You honestly wouldn't know that's a 14.5%, I think you said, Jo.
Yeah.
It is beautifully made. It's delicious. It's soft, and it just hit the spot for lunchtime today, because I've been up quite early trying to get lunch ready for the gang when they arrived and try to tidy up a bit, so they didn't have quite such a shock when they arrived in the house. And then we've got an extra treat also from Secret Garden. This is a new one to me entirely. This is a new discovery and a great discovery. This I've never heard of. Malbec dolce. This is Domaine Bousquet, and it comes from Argentina. It's an organic wine. And again, this is sweet. It is absolute depth of flavour from this. No, it's not that old. I think it's 2017, going on memory.
Yes, 2017. Yeah.
So you can see it's still got, but it's purplish thing. But the nose that hits. Oh gosh, it's so inviting. The nose. The things that first time I tasted it earlier in the week, and I thought, gosh, this is amazing. It was completely, I've never come across a sweet malbec before, so I was intrigued. And to me, as a child, I used to walk through the woods, and all the smells, when the wood's slightly damp and you're walking through, what comes up? The leaves, and then fruits, blackberries growing here, there's something else growing there. There are all sorts of fruits, mushrooms and things, and so all these, the smells of the forest and berries is what it comes, and it's so inviting. You walk through an autumn wood and, oh gosh, and it's not too wet, so it's not unpleasant walking, but there has been rain about, and so it's just bringing up as you walk through the woods, and all these different aromas. I remember as a child, we were so lucky where we lived in the country, right deep in the middle of nowhere in Sussex, and it was, well, we were lucky. I mean, it was just an enchanted, just for a few years, an enchanted childhood for me. I loved the house we were in, I loved the woods and the wild bluebells, and in the same wood in the spring it was just littered with what I call proper primroses, bluebells, and it was just a carpet of blue, and all these trees and the leaves, sort of my favourite times, spring and summer, new life in the spring, leaves are just beginning to come out, all green, and you smell this, oh, it's inviting, and you can't wait to taste it actually, because it's so inviting, right? Oh, that is absolutely a treasure of a discovery. Absolutely. Never come across one before, but I can thoroughly recommend it. And I'm going to ask Jo to read that in the front there.
What do you want me to, which bit?
Well, and let me see if I've got readers anywhere.
Let me pause, yeah.
Let's go to the kitchen and see the light I might hear. I can. It comes from Tupungato Valley, Mendoza, Argentina. So it's the Tupungato Valley, Mendoza, Argentina, Domaine Bousquet, and it's Malbec Dolce, and it is a delight, absolute delight, and it is 17.5%, I recall.
Lovely.
So that's a great find, absolute great find. And there we are, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you've enjoyed that tasting. So today we have tasted, let's recap. Look at the colours. Where's the white? Shut it.
Over here.
The Ventoux. So we do them in order, Jo. Right, that one there. Right, that's it. And that one. And that was that one. So those are the wines we've tasted today. Look at the lovely collection colours. In fact, probably if you're in the kitchen, which I was the other day when I was trying to video, and I made a botch up because I really don't know how to do it. So just as well they've come round and Jo's doing it today. Right, that is the end of session 2. But session 3, we've got, I put on Facebook last night, I have got, again from Secret Garden, there are 2 wines from Spain, and if anybody's brave enough, if they back off their dart, I have a frightening bottle for them to open, because Granny's not even going to venture. A wild Prosecco, and wait for it, you need a corkscrew, and then it's got a flip over top like the old cider or beer bottles, right? So I don't want to be near them when they open it, 'cause who knows what a wild Prosecco holds that you've got to put a corkscrew in to get the cork out. So we will have, they're both from, the white and the red are both from La Mancha in Spain. The white is a Verdelho, and I think on memory the red was Garnacha grape. But it'll be interesting, again, they're new wines to me, but these are ones from the festival box from Secret Garden. So that will be session 3, so a treat in store, folks.
Yeah.
Come back and you'll learn a bit with Granny's Wine Tasting.
Yay!
Bye.